Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. We hope you are all well. A big talk about football, episode 27, Mike. Episode 27, 3 away from 30. But they keep on coming. But firstly, Mike, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, buddy. Not too bad yourself.
Yeah. Good. Thank you very much for Anton for the surroundings tonight. He's made for me border surroundings. It looks very nice. Thank you very much, Anton, for that. But I mean, we've had better weeks in West Ham history, haven't we, Mike? But I mean, we haven't had much better seasons, so we can't really complain, can we? I mean, the loss to Chelsea, bit
Well, when you
disappointing.
when you look at it, I mean, Chelsea ripped Real Madrid apart for the first 10 minutes last night, and
Yeah,
they never really did that to us over 90 minutes in that
no,
game. So I think, you know, overall we've had a great season, mate, and we know that. We'd have ripped someone's hand off for this at the start of the season,
oh yeah.
um, albeit very disappointing, especially with the sending off. It getting
Mm.
rescinded again and everything. I mean, it's just, yeah, that leaves a bit of a sour taste in the mouth, doesn't it?
Well, let's just talk about that then. The sending off. Oh,
Oh, it's a
oh.
joke. It's
It's now.
absolutely laughable.
Yeah, I mean, it's now been rescinded, but I mean, if that would have gone through, even Ian Wright comes out sent off for kicking a ball. It's just what is football coming to? What's VAR coming to? It's just. I'm convinced it's not VAR. I'm convinced that it's the referees enforcing it. I don't know about you, but it's just probably two of the worst decisions that you'll see have come to us this season.
I think, like, you just got to look at this. I hate VAR and I'd scrap it tomorrow. I'd kick it straight out. But I think they just need a bit of educating. They need someone who's played the game to sit with them and just talk to them. I mean, they go back and they watch that in slow motion and it looks worse. But football's not played in slow motion. He's kicked that ball, tried to kick that ball down the field, and he's collided with the player. It's just something that happens in the game. And they look at it in slow motion and it looks bad. Well, it shouldn't even be put on slow motion. It should not even come up on their screen in slow motion. And it, I mean, they just got to watch it in real time. It's totally different. It's totally different.
Yeah, yeah. When you put things into slow motion, just things just look completely worse. But let's have a look. We will talk about that later on. But in just a minute, see who's in the chat. Charlie, I hope you're well. Hi, Jake. Come on, you irons indeed as well. Scott, I hope you're well. Evening all, hope you're well. Jake and Mike, we are. That's for sure. But Winner shouldn't have got sent off completely. And Luke's in as well. Evening, ladies. I hope you're well, Luke. But we've got our first guest waiting to come on. All the way over from the Manchester United fan base is Baker. Baker, how are you? No, we can't hear you, mate. No. Oh. All right. All right.
I'll be back, I think he said.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
words of Arnie.
No,
No.
we still can't hear you. That's right. Right. Whilst he gets himself, whilst Baker gets himself sorted out, it's just the whole VAR. It's just getting a bit. It's just getting a bit silly and boring, isn't it? You know, these decisions. The Suchek getting his elbow out the way. The follow through. Both have been rescinded and rightly so. But they shouldn't even need to go and get rescinded, should they, Mike?
No, there's no way. Is there? I don't think anyone who watched that. I think I've only just heard one totally biased Chelsea fan say that it was a sending off, and the rest of
Mm.
the world doesn't think it's a sending off. So, that tells you, doesn't it? I mean, it's rescinded straight away. I think the referee knows he's made a mistake afterwards. I think he knows he's made a mistake. It's a massive boo boo. But I mean, okay, it's been rescinded, so he's not banned for 3 games. But we can't get that 15 minutes back in that game just when we were getting on top.
Yeah.
That we can't get that back. That's gone. And yeah, it's a gut. And yeah, I'm absolutely gutted with it. But there you go. I mean, we're getting used to it now. It's happening all the time to us, isn't it?
Yeah. No, we still can't hear you. Christ. The world of live YouTube. No,
Yeah.
the world of live YouTube, that's for sure. We still can't hear you. Iron's official. This is live YouTube, everybody. I hope everyone in the chat as well. Iron's official. Hope you're well as well. But it's disappointing going off that mic, isn't it? But we've got to look forward to the Burnley game, and having it on a Monday night is almost a bit of a boost to get Creswell and Rice perhaps back in and around the team, because we've seen Rice jogging. He's getting back to full fitness. I'm sure Baker will join us again in just a second. Yeah. Technical difficulties all over the place tonight. All over the place, but we've got to look forward to that game. And again, there's 5 games left. It's another must win.
Yeah, I think the top 4 is looking a bit out of reach now, but we just got to keep fighting and keep giving us some hope. Really, that's all they can do, isn't it? I mean, it being a Monday night now gives the boys a bit more time. I don't think Rice is going to make it, to be honest. We haven't seen him kicking a ball. We haven't seen him with any boots on his feet yet. He's been running in trainers, but it's still good to see that. Creswell and Masuaku look at more promising that they'll be back, so that strengthens the squad. I mean, even Bolbona not being suspended still gives us more strength in our squad. With Dawson available again, who knows who he's going to pick, but it still strengthens our squad. We don't need 3 goalkeepers on the bench, do we?
No. But to be fair, we haven't got much more. We can't be picky and choosy with who we put on the bench. Might come here because our squad's just so thin, and we've seen, with the couple of injuries that we've had, Ogbona's back now, but Creswell, Masuaku, Rice, Antonio. I mean, we've been quite lucky with injuries this season, and it's just seems to be coming back at the wrong time, doesn't it? Injuries, the normal West Ham with injuries.
Oh, it is, but I mean, other teams are suffering as well. It's one of those things you've got to get on with. We know our squad wasn't big enough, and we should have invested more in January, at least with another striker, I think, and a fullback and a midfielder. But it wasn't to be. I think it was Moyes just didn't want to buy any old one that was going to be, a player that's not going to be there for the future. So I can understand that bit, but we did need a bit more strength in depth.
Yeah, such a Moyes thing to do, though, wasn't it? Obviously, I'm going to back him. I'm going to completely back him with it. But yeah, it's just so frustrating that we had the opportunity and he didn't do it. But we've talked about that to death, that's for sure. But some positive news that's come out, and just before we come to that, Scott has come in and said the change was 4 nows. Oh, I'm sorry, 4 nows. The change was Johnson for Fredericks when we went down to 10. Had we remained 11 versus 11, can only feel Moyes would have gone more positive. Yeah, I mean, it was just a bit, it completely stopped our momentum, didn't it? I thought, because in the way that we had the momentum, Lanzini and Ben Ramel were just starting to get into the game, and then obviously that happened, and then we just kind of hit a brick wall, didn't we?
Yeah, we were looking good. I think we had control of the game then. I know it wasn't for a big part of the game, but I think we pushed Chelsea back. We had a lot of the ball. We were just beginning to start look menacing. Like Scott said, the changes had to be different then, which, well, it was difficult, really. It was tough. Really was tough on Moyes, and it was a difficult decision for him, really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Charlie's come over with a prediction. The preview will be very, very soon, but West Ham 2, Burnley 1. But we've got our guest, and we've got a guest with us. Let's hope that we can hear him and we can see him. Ben, how are you?
Not bad, chaps. You all well?
Hey, right, buddy.
Oh, yeah. There we go. We've had a bit of technical difficulties tonight, not hearing people, but we can hear you. That's for sure. That's for sure. But firstly, I hear it's your birthday today. Happy birthday.
Cheers, buddy.
Many happy returns.
Mike.
Hope you've had a good day, and I mean, Craig Dawson would just like to say happy birthday as well. I mean, it's a shame that that Arsenal can't give you, a happy birthday. But that's just Arsenal for you. But but Happy birthday. I hope I hope you've had a good day. But in terms of football, massive game in the Europa League tomorrow, semi-finals. I mean, do you feel? What's your thoughts on the game? And do you feel this is where the Europa League is at? You know, you're in a semi-final and you're playing teams like Villarreal. What's your thoughts on the game?
I mean, to be fair, we're saying the Europa League. You go back 5 years or 10 years ago, Arsenal Villarreal was a semi-final in the Champions League. I mean, the possibility of being Arsenal United final 15 years ago, that would have been a huge Champions League final. It just shows how far the greats have fallen. I mean, Roma in the Europa League final as well. It is crazy that how much the big teams have fallen. I mean, I said when we played Slavia Prague, I didn't think we'd even get a draw. I think I said on your channel, I thought we were going to lose. I think tomorrow night I'm going for a 3-0 win.
Ooh.
I really am. The fact that Arteta's come out today and he said everybody is available. Every single player is available for tomorrow night. That's a huge boost. Huge. If we go out tomorrow and we win, he will put all of his eggs in that basket. That'll be it.
So I haven't seen that. Does that mean, you know, the likes of Kieran Tierney are coming back, which could be a massive boost for you? I mean, I did see somewhere, you know, Lacazette, Aubameyang, the big guns are coming back, and I mean, I think Kieran Tierney, would you agree, is one of your most crucial players in your side? So it's good for you to have those players back and gives you a push for the last 5 games. And you know, as you said, put all the eggs in the basket. You know, if you get through, and I think you'll probably play Man United if you get through. I think they'll get past Roma in an all English Europa League final yet again.
Yeah, I mean, Kieran Tierney coming back is a huge thing. I mean, a lot of Arsenal fans thought he was out for the season. So the fact that he's coming back for our most important game of the season again is a huge thing for us. If we get through to the final to United, we haven't lost to them this season. We've won 1 and drawn 1. I think over one game, I think it's anybody's game. I really do think it's anybody's game.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. Just the way, you know, you're getting the players back. Do you think that could bring the momentum, Mike? Because I mean, Kieran Tierney there with like
great going forward, isn't he? I mean, he's
player of the season, just a fantastic player, and that'll be a massive boost for them, won't it, Mike?
Definitely, yeah. Like I say, if you win that, you get through. I mean, it's a one-off hit against Man United. Yeah, you got a really good chance.
Anyone's game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. And Arsenal, you know, I thought, you know, at times this year have played really, really well. You know, I've watched a few games, and it's just been these last few games where it's dropped off. But players missing, it's like us. You know, you got players missing. It's going to hurt you, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we to be fair, we've had no consistency all year. No. We had a first good couple of games, and then we were awful until we played Chelsea. Then we had a decent run of, I think it was 8 games, and then it's fell apart again.
Yeah,
you know, it's been a nightmare.
It's just inconsistency, isn't it? I mean, that's what I mean. You need consistency in a season, and you know, go into sides that you should beat in a season and just dropping points in it. I think it's just been a frustrating season for you, hasn't it?
It has been very, very frustrating. It's been a very strange season for a lot of teams. I mean, nobody in their right mind would have said that Liverpool would have won it last year and be where they are this year. I mean, it's been a very strange season. I mean, you guys are doing phenomenal. I mean, at the beginning of the season, if they said to you guys, you know, to be where you are now, to be fighting for a Champions League place, it would have bit anyone's hand off.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I mean, I'd love to be in your situation, but unfortunately, possibility of no Europa League.
I mean, it's usually the other way around, Mike, isn't it? We're like, oh, you know, Arsenal, they're up there in these Europa League spaces. We want to be there, and it's completely turned on its head this season, Mike, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, you know, and that's a lot of credit to that. You've got to put it down to David Moyes and the way he's organised that team. You know, he made them hard to beat to start with, and then, I mean, he got us scoring goals, you know, and now we're conceding too many. But, you know, overall throughout the season, you know, with the lack of squad, he's done phenomenally well.
Yeah, very well. I'm surprised. I am surprised he hasn't been mentioned for the Tottenham job. Yeah,
I don't think he suits Tottenham, to be honest. I don't think he's a sort of manager at Tottenham. Okay, yeah, they took on Mourinho, I know. So that
And
nobody knows that
I mean,
anymore. But
they're looking
you
at
know,
Dyche as well. And if you said about Dyche, I don't think is a Tottenham man. I
no,
mean,
not at all.
No.
he's second favourite now.
Is he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Really?
favourite for Palace, and now he's second favourites for Tottenham.
Mm.
Yeah,
He-
don't get me wrong. I think Moyes would do a good job wherever he went. I think
I
he's
think he would.
little bit unlucky at Man United. Ferguson saw something. That's why he wanted him to take the job.
Yeah.
He knew there was something there, but
Absolutely.
it was the wrong time, and it was a
Yeah.
bit of a poison chalice for him, really.
Yeah,
You know, going in there after Alex Ferguson, whoever takes
it's a
it
big
on, you know,
job.
it's a massive boots to fill, wasn't it? I mean, you know, Solskjaer hasn't done that well, really, not for the amount of money that's been spent on his squad, you know, and giving him a chance. And that could have been David Moyes. They could have given him that chance, but there you go. I think he should have been a bit unlucky, really.
Yeah.
And then he got that Sunderland job, which was another. Oh, that was another.
That was awful, wasn't it?
Nasty one, really. You know.
That
Yeah.
was a poison one.
Yeah. There you go. You know, he's proven he can still. You know, I'm just hoping that he can do what he did with Everton with us. You know, make us compete consistently in the top 6 or 7. We don't expect to win the league. We don't expect to get in the Champions League, but to get up and around there and play Europa League football, you know, and consistently have a chance at it would be great. You know, I think that's where we got to aim. You know, we've got a little bit of time, really. We don't want to snap off more, you know, than we can chew, really. You know, so you know, I'm well happy with it.
Good.
Scott says, "Happy cake eating day." Ben, is Ben as old as Arsenal? Have points as he only looks 30. Well, I don't know how many points Arsenal have got, but it's not many this season.
I wish I was 30.
Right, Gary's coming with his weekly comment. Evening, anyone above us tonight? I don't believe so. A Liverpool fan. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Arsenal fan. Oh, hang on. Yeah. And there's been a goal in PSG versus City. PSG has scored. Marquinhos has put that in. But Mike, thank you very much for co-hosting me for the first 20 minutes.
Cheers,
Thank
Mike.
you.
See you later.
Right, couple of guests waiting, so we'll go. Howlu's a Fulham fan. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. And Richard, who is a Liverpool fan. Hi, Rich. How are you?
Hi, Jake. Yeah, good. Thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Matt, I'll come to you first. Then, you've got Chelsea next. It's a bit of a derby on that side of London. Have you got any confidence going into that?
Well, I think we're relegated, so we can go into it playing at how we like, really.
Yeah.
It's too many teams above us have won too many games that they, you know, there's no way of us catching them now unless we win all 6 of our games. And so I'm looking forward to the Chelsea games. At least it show that we can still compete at this level, but unfortunately we're gone.
Yeah. Well, Scott Parker should just look at it now and just go for it, don't you think, with these last games? I mean, Newcastle have gone on a bit of a run. Joe Willock's just scoring last-minute winners here, there, and everywhere. Just frustrating for you. At one point, you know, you were looking like you were going to get out of it, and then Newcastle started stringing some good results together, and you lost four out of 4. It's just, you said that you think you're relegated now unless you win the last 6 games. But yeah, Gary puts it here, Fulham's my second favourite team. There's a lot of respect for Scott Parker at West Ham, and we wish Newcastle went down, but I think that's the way it's going now. Who do you think, or what do you think's gone wrong this season, in terms of going back down?
Well, we lost. To be fair, we lost ground at the start of the season because there's quite a short gap between us going up from the Championship playoff final to the Premier League starting, and then we didn't have a great squad going into it, so we lost sort of, I think, the first 6 games, out of 10. So you all of a sudden you're on the back foot.
Yeah.
And the games that we've drawn, we should have won, and the games that we've lost, we should have drawn. It's been sort of one of them seasons. Certainly against the bigger clubs, like the top 6 clubs. We've equally played as better than them, but we've never we never got the right result.
Yeah. Rich, if I come to you then, it's the big derby at the weekend, Man United versus Liverpool. I mean, there's not as much on it as you'd
No.
like.
No.
But what's your thoughts for the game?
Yeah, disappointing. And it really would have been nice to have been that much closer, so it can make a difference. But yeah, and as a way, I'd like us obviously to win because Klopp I don't think has won at Old Trafford yet. But we're just not scoring goals, are we, at the moment?
Yeah.
And that's the really disappointing thing for us, And it would have been a lot easier. Well, not easier, but a lot better if we'd done. The last two games we played when, we've got the goal and then we could just see it happening that would end up with a draw. And that's been a really disappointing thing that we haven't dispatched teams when we should have.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, a bit of a disappointing season for Liverpool. Inconsistency, as we were talking about with Arsenal, with Ben, it's just been an inconsistent season, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, obviously, we've had our injuries, which and anybody in the world would miss Van Dijk and the second and third centre back, but it just took out so much out of the midfield. Maybe I'm starting to question about Wijnaldum. I've always thought he's been a great player for us. What he can do, but if he's not signing, and it looks like he's off to probably Barcelona, I am surprised that Klopp's keeping him in midfield there. For the number of games he has played as well, why he hasn't changed the midfield a bit more.
Yeah. Let's see who's in the chat. Scott says we all love Scotty Parker. Welcome, Howler. Luke with 3 hammers says love Scotty, one of my favourite hammers. Footballer Brownie Adam, I hope you're well. I hope you're as well. JP, I hope you are as well. Scott says we really were a one-man team with Scott Parker. Luke says Scott was a strong man, carried 10 players for 3 years. Yeah, backing each other's point up there. Perfectly, let's say. But Ben, if I come back to you then, Newcastle's proving to be a banana skin for a lot of sides, as we said a minute ago. With in terms of Fulham, you've got them at the weekend. I mean, your season's been full of banana skins. Can you see there being a banana skin there?
I think it all depends on how we get on tomorrow night. I think if we get a convincing win against Villarreal, he will not put out a strong team against Newcastle. I really don't. If we have a tough... it all depends on how we get on tomorrow night. If we get an absolute mullering from Villarreal, that will be it. And it will focus on the league, on trying to get a European spot. But it all depends on tomorrow night. Newcastle have never been a good team for us. I mean, I go back a few years ago, we were 4-0 up and we drew 4-4 in the last 10 minutes. But
yeah, I mean...
Just a quick one for the Fulham fan. Do you think that Scotty Parker will use his last games as something for his CV for the Tottenham job?
I think he's pretty settled at Fulham, and to be fair, he's got to stay at Fulham for a couple more seasons. Otherwise, he'll go into a job a bit like Frank Lampard. He'll go into a job too soon. And I don't want that to happen to Scott, to be fair. Because football management is a tough, as everyone's seen on, it's a tough business and it's a results business, and Lampard is a prime example of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Luke says if he joins Tottenham again, he's dead to me. Yeah. Well, I mean, only Arsenal and Spurs can do it, Ben. Can they go from 3-0 down or 4-0 down to draw? I mean, Lanzini wasn't even involved in that 4-4 game, and it still managed to muck it up in the end.
Exactly. But no, Newcastle have never been a good team for us. We've had, all depends on tomorrow night for me.
Yeah.
It all depends on tomorrow night. That's going to depend on what he puts out on at the weekend.
Yeah. Rich then. So let's just having a look at the Premier League table. Currently sat sixth. Is Champions League still on? I mean, we've slipped down. You are 1 point below us. I never thought I'd be saying that. Even just 1 point. It's been more than that. In the last couple of weeks, but Chelsea are sat in that elusive fourth position with 58. So there's 4 points in it with 5 games to go. Do you think it's still on?
If Leicester had lost on Monday when they were losing 1-0, I thought we were in with a shout.
Yeah.
I thought perhaps Leicester and either yourselves would drop out, and maybe we and Chelsea might sneak up there. But I think there's only 1 spot left, and I think Chelsea are better than us because we're just not consistent. And Leicester have got some big games, haven't they? They had Man United, I think they had Spurs and Chelsea left to play. But when they beat Palace, I think that's probably putting them out of reach for us. So, yeah, sadly, I don't want to say it, but no, I don't think we'll make it.
Yeah, it was a bit of a Leicester, they were losing and we just wanted them to lose desperately to bring them back into it, but unfortunately they didn't. But Matt, if I come to you then, I think most Fulham fans will now say, we've had our season in the Premier League and we're now going back down. I mean, the Championship going back down is that the Championship is a very hard league to come straight back up in. Do you think that you would have enough there if Scott Parker plays there to come back in, to come back up to the Premier League?
Yeah, it all depends on who they sign and who they keep. To be fair, some of the we've got a lot of loan players. And a couple of them on 2-year loans. So it would be quite expensive if we do go down, like it is for any club. But I like the Championship because it's so competitive, and Fulham have it's nicer to watch Fulham in the Championship than it is on the Premier League. So it's I won't complain being relegated because when you could go and watch them, it was nice to go to all these different grounds. It's such a competitive league. It's anyone can beat anyone, and so hopefully who he keeps and who stays will all depend on how competitive we are next season.
Yeah. So then, Ben, the last question to you: if you go on and win the Europa League, then Ben, do you think there'll be more people? I mean that brings a trophy out of I think most Arsenal fans will say a pretty horrific season. Do you think that'll in a way brush the season under the carpet and perhaps there won't be so many Arteta outs? Do you think that will still occur and it'll be looked at as a pretty decent season? There's a bit of silverware there as well.
Yeah, I mean, if we do win it, I think it'll be a great season for me. If I'm honest with you, back in the Champions League, FA Cup last season, Europa League this season. Again, I refer back. It's been a crazy season. It really has been an absolute crazy season for his second full season in charge. It's a little bit. I'm not Arteta out. I've been led into believe that there's a plan in place, that he's going to be the man. Let's go from there. No, I'm happy with what he's doing. I can't complain. And if he does go on to win Europa League, wow. It's our first big European silverware and donkeys. So I'll be well happy. Very happy.
And it means that United don't win it as well. So that makes it even better.
Exactly. There you go. See?
Even I would be happy with Arsenal winning.
There you go.
It's a win-win. It's a win-win for a Liverpool fan like you, Rich.
Unless Liverpool finish fourth. If Liverpool finish fourth and Chelsea win the Champions League and we win Europa League, you get the Champions League.
Oh, that's true.
That's a problem. See?
Yeah.
Honestly. Us West Ham fans are trying to get our head around how all of this works because we've never had this before. If this person wins the Europa League, do we get this Champions League? We're not used to this. We've never had to delve into the depths of how it works and how you get Champions League and Europa League. We're just we're like, that's a good season if we finish 10th, but Matt, I'm going to ask you then. What do you think needs to come in from Fulham in the summer? What do you think needs to come in? Because you said you've got loads and loads of loan signings. I mean, you've got off the top of my head, Lookman, Areola, class players. But what do you think you need to add to that? Which positions are you looking at?
Depending on who we keep. I mean, I think we need a striker to link up with Mitrovic, because Mitrovic has got his downfalls. So we definitely need to strengthen up in the striker department, and possibly another Fulham are always in desperate need of a centre half. So hopefully get a centre half. We got a couple of players who haven't really featured this season that played in the Championship and that more than held their own in the Championship. So going back down isn't going to be a bad thing, and there'll be a lot of players, competitive players, that will be playing again.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things that could happen and that might happen. But any last words, guys, before I let you go?
No, none from me, Jake. Just appreciate being on again, buddy.
Thank you very much for coming on. And Rich, I mean, I hope you fizzle back out again. So there's more chance of us getting Europe. But thank you for coming on, and I wish you a bit of luck.
Yeah. No, thanks for the invite again. Much appreciated.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. So there we go. It says here West Ham YouTube royalty later. I mean, West Ham fans are royalty in themselves. But I'll be back in just a second. Please check out Canning Town Lane using the link in the description, and we'll be talking about West Ham. Let's go. Canning Town Len is your best place to buy custom portraits that you can buy on the internet. Canning Town Len does animated portraits like this one he did for me up here. They're absolutely fantastic, and I couldn't recommend them enough. So just some ones that he did for me. I've got this one here outside the London Stadium. I mean, it looks just like me, really. The best possible kind of animated portrait, kind of animated cartoon kind of picture I could hope for, really. They're absolutely amazing, and they are so realistic, look exactly like me, and they are very good to buy. So make sure you do click the link in the description down below to buy a portrait from Canning Town Len. I'd highly recommend them. Click the link in the description down below. He does animated portraits, non-West Ham related, West Ham related, lots of different backgrounds, any shirt, any background. You can basically customize it to your absolute kind of needs and what you exactly want. So click the link in the description down below to check out Canning Town Len. Come on, your irons. And we'll talk a bit about Ham now, proper football club, and I'm joined as always by James. James, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. Getting over that rubbish that I watched and witnessed on Saturday afternoon, evening, and yeah, mate, it wasn't great, and yeah, we got Burnley now, even better.
yeah. I mean, we've got to go into it with some confidence, that's for sure, because we've got hopefully players coming back. We could see Declan Rice back. We could see Creswell back. We could have players coming back and a bit of momentum. But a couple more West Ham fans coming on. Firstly, Gary, how are you?
How are you, Jake? Nice to see you.
Yeah, not too bad. And this is a strange occurrence. Stel is here before Anton. What's going on here? Stel, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you? How are you, lads?
All good, thanks.
All good,
Yeah.
mate. Good.
Yeah, all good. I mean, this doesn't happen very often. You're here before Anton. I don't know what's going on, but I'm sure he'll be here in a minute. But I've got a couple of subjects wrote down, and we will discuss them now. And here he is. He was just a couple of seconds. Seconds.
Get me off.
Anton, how are you?
Yeah, not bad. How you all doing? You all well? Yeah, good, mate.
Yeah, good, thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for the surroundings, Anton. It looks very nice. You're a pro at it.
Don't know if I'd say that, mate.
Right, I've got a couple of things wrote down, and we will discuss them. Firstly, Tammy Abraham, £40 million in the summer, that has spotted us today, and I can already see Stel grinning. But James, I'm going to come to you first. £40 million for Tammy Abraham.
Not for me, mate. Ivan Toney's the man. I keep saying it over and over again, and I will keep pumping that out. Tammy Abraham, not for me. Got a bit of an attitude, thinks he's better than what he is. And there's other players out there like Seema, who've got better sell-on value than Abraham. And Ivan Toney, mate. Ivan Toney's raw. He plays like Antonio. He's as fast as Antonio. He's built like Antonio. So for me, he's Antonio's replacement, mate.
Yeah. Gary, I wouldn't like to see. I agree with James. Tammy Abraham, not for me. But what are your thoughts on him? And I mean, that's a pretty hefty price tag, and we ain't got a lot of money.
Well, firstly, Jay, I don't think anybody's going to be spending 40 million in the summer. I think the game is, no one's got any money. Liverpool, United, maybe Chelsea and City got some, but the rest of us have got no money. So I think 40 million will be a pipe dream. So, but Abraham, I don't think he's too bad. Whether Moyes should get the best out of him, I don't know. I mean, I like Tony as well, I like Abraham. I think he's worth a go, but not certainly not for 40 million. Definitely not for that amount. I just don't think anyone will spend any money this summer. I think that we're going to see a big readjustment. I honestly do. Yeah.
Stel, you're a big in the know at Chelsea. So what are your thoughts on Tammy Abraham?
Well, I agree with James and with Gary. First of all, when I think the days of spending 40 million on one player for a team like West Ham, they're over, absolutely over. If I think it's all paper talk, just to try and up his price. And there are better players out there for that sort of money, but it's not going to be anywhere near 40 million. If he's available for about 25, Moyes might take the gamble on him, but I think there are better players out there. He's all right, young player, etc. But no, it's all paper talk. 40 million pounds. It's a bit of a joke, really.
Yeah, I agree. Anton, I mean, Moyes will have what he wants, and he'll take what he wants. And we've already seen that from in January, haven't we? That he wants the perfect man, doesn't he? If it's Abraham, it is. I'll back him. But I mean, 40 million pounds, as I said, it's pretty hefty.
Yeah, you always find though that players, like young English players, prices are always inflated, no matter who they are and what club they play for, and let alone the fact that he plays for one of the greedy six. That'll inflate his price even more. So 40 million, no. I do agree with everyone else, what James said about Tony. I do like what Tony offers, to be honest. I think he is quite a good replacement for Antonio. The thing is, my concern really is, will we actually get Tony? We had a Brentford fan on our show today, and he gave us really, really nice and good insight into the goings on at Brentford, and they said they're going to be trying everything in their power, no matter if they get promoted or stay in the league, to keep Tony at the club. Now, they're going to put a price tag on him that might force clubs not to buy him. From what Gary said, because of the current market and everything's happening in the world, etc. So every club might be priced out of him, and Brentford might keep their man no matter if they go up or stay down, and that's going to be the concerning thing. And it might mean that Moyes has to go elsewhere and look at players like Seema or players abroad, etc. So, but I do like Tony. I think he's got the all-round play. The only thing is, we've only seen him once, and he's only been in the Championship once, but he's been prolific in his whole career from League One up to the Championship, and maybe he could make that step up. I don't know. But yeah, no, Abraham, I like him, decent player. 40 million, no. Maybe similar to Stel. Get him, if you can get him even remotely down to 15, 16, 17, then I trust in what Moyes could do and get the best out of him.
Yeah, and the second and final bit of striker paper talk that we'll discuss, and I'm still in disbelief for what I read. Marko Arnautovic, James, dearie me.
You want me to go off now?
Marko Arnautovic. Oh dear, it's spiked up again. We're not going to talk about it too much. He wants to cancel his contract and he wants to come back to West Ham. It's a bit laughable, isn't it?
It is a little bit, but the way I look at it is like if we someone said, you know what, we're going to get him for the rest of the season, and we're considering we ain't got a striker and we're running out of bodies, would anyone really complain if we find us into the Champions League? Like we can't cut our nose off to spite our face over players because we ain't got any players, so our players are running out of bodies here. Do you know what I mean? So, if someone said to you right now, he wins you 12 points and gets you into a Champions League position, I don't think anyone would mind.
Sorry, I didn't look at this today, so I've not seen. So Arnautovic is what's happening with Arnautovic? I didn't see this.
He's trying to break away from his contract in China.
So does that mean then if he breaks away, he is a free agent and can sign for a club?
Free agent, yeah.
Okay.
But we've been hearing this for quite some time now that he's been trying to break his contract because he doesn't want to stay in China.
This is what's been said. According to a source, former West Ham striker Marko Arnautovic is trying to cancel his contract at Shanghai. And would you take him on a free transfer? I mean, it spiked up quite a while ago, but Gary, I mean, it's just a bit strange. It's just a bit. I don't know.
Well, Anton talked about the greedy six earlier. He's the greedy one. You know, he left purely for money. No other reason other than money. He suddenly realised, like the rest of us, China's quite a long way away, and the language is quite tricky. And he's stuck over there on his. God knows what he's doing. And I think if he came back, Jake, to be honest, I think he'd upset the apple cart because he sounds like he's a man just after he looks after himself. You remember famously he went on strike last time, and the same night we lost to Wimbledon in the cup, he comes on the YouTube channel and says, "Don't worry, guys, I'm back." Definitely not. I wouldn't take him back for any money at all. Even if he was free, I'd let him rot personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on, Stel.
Yeah, I'm with Gary. I think it would be a risk. He will want to be Mr. Number One. I can actually see him upsetting one particular player because of the harmony in the team, and that's Lingard. Because he'll want to be king, he'll want to be the top man. And at the moment, Lingard is the top man, and I can see there maybe being a little bit of that. By bringing in someone like Arnautovic could end up costing us getting Lingard on a permanent. You know, and I agree with Gary. I don't think he's worth the risk. He's greedy. We all know why he left, and Gary's absolutely right. He left for money. Now he knows that the money tree in China is gone. He's looking for his next payday.
I see kind of both points. If I'm being really, really honest here, I see what Gary and Stella are saying. And I see what James is saying. Moyes has stated all along. If you just said a year ago that West Ham were going to sign Lingard, most fans would turn around and go, "I don't want that. He'll upset the cattle. He'll upset everything at West Ham." Genuinely,
I don't think anyone said about him upsetting. I don't think anyone understood it. But I don't think anyone said that he would upset.
Yeah, but can we really be that? Like, cut our nose off to spite our face when we're sitting 3 points behind Chelsea with 5 games to go and possibly get Champions League because we won't be here next year.
I think we can. I think we can cut our noses off to spite our faces because we've done well without him. A player like Arnautovic, I think we've done more than well. We've smashed it this season. Even if we only finish 7th place, I don't think we need Arnautovic. And I don't think it is a one-season wonder. I think we'll carry on next season. To be honest,
we won't be like this next season.
I bet you will.
We're in about. Still, I'm telling you the truth, mate. There's no way because West Ham haven't got the budget, they haven't got the firepower, and they haven't got the owners.
Well, this is the thing. You see, people think that you've got to spend big money to stay up there. Moyes has proven that you don't have to spend big to stay up there. Who'd heard of Souček a year ago? Who heard of Kufal a year ago? Bowen for Hull City of all teams a year ago. These players are coming at sort of 18, 19 million, and they've done exceptionally well, which is why we won't pay 40 million for one particular player, and we don't need Arnautovic. I reckon he's got his eye. I mean, that El Nesri, whatever his name is, valued at about 25 million. He's got his eye on players around about that sort of price range that he'll think will improve the squad. Why, everyone even I was surprised that he got Lingard in winter, but no striker would have done better than Lingard. Let's be honest. Not one striker. I can't think of any striker that would have come in and scored 9 goals in 11 games. So and also how many assists? 4 assists or something like that. I think we will be there or thereabouts next season. I really do. I think it's a new era because of Moyes. Now, I wouldn't have said that a year ago because of Moyes. I really wouldn't have done. But hats off to the man. He's changed us around.
Not for me, mate. I just want to say this, Jake. Not for me. Arsenal spend. I know people say they haven't got the money, but these teams will. Right, they're backed by billionaire people. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool will spend. Tottenham are a mid-table team, so they ain't gonna do no damage. But Everton have got good backers. They're going to move into a new stadium soon. We ain't got good owners, mate. So we're fifth now. But if we end up finishing 7th or 8th, like there's no way we can improve. Like unless we have about £100 million spent on this team, because we need about eight players.
But that's the thing I'm saying. I don't think you need to spend big money to I
Moyes
really
has
don't,
proven that.
because Arsenal have spent big. What did they pay for that last player they bought?
I know, but Arsenal are in the semi-final of the Europa League. Let's not think that we're not.
We might be there next season. We might be in that position next season.
Not with the team we've got. Not with the team we've got. We need a goal.
We need to improve the squad. Yeah.
And we all know that striker costs the most money because they do everything. They do the main important thing and score goals. So we need to go and spend 40 million. Like West Ham, as I agree with Gary what he's saying about West Ham spending like £40 million, but we need a covering midfielder. We need a striker. We need a goalkeeper. We need a centre half. We need it ain't like a quick. Like we can go to we can't keep going to the Czech Republic and nicking £5 million players. Like you might get away with it once or twice, but then we get stuck.
There is a kind of argument on both sides. If you look at I've actually brought up Everton signings over the last couple of seasons under Ancelotti. You've got £25 million Allen, you've got £18 million Decor, you've got James Rodriguez. Everyone knows him, nearly 30 million. Richarlison, I think that was before Ancelotti, 50 million. And West Ham are sitting, I get the sentiment behind what Stella's saying. West Ham are sitting above Everton now after a turnaround season. And I understand, I definitely think we need to enhance that squad 100%. We need to bring in squad depth in that team. However, there's more than a strong core in this team now that what Moyes has brought in. And if we add bits and bobs to that, using the ability that whatever Moyes has done to change, he's changed my mindset completely. Like James, I was completely where you are. We need to go and sign that £40 million striker, but Haller's proven that we don't need to go and sign that £40 million striker.
Yeah, but we haven't got a striker there, have we?
We
haven't. Be honest.
However, we have got Lingard. We have got Lingard who's got he's been, and if that was the decision between Lingard or King from Everton, and still you'll back this up, I was canvassing for King.
Yeah, I kept telling
But you've got to look at it like this though, yeah. Right, Newcastle. We played Newcastle 2 weeks ago. Newcastle had 5 strikers, 3 on the bench and 2 up front. We haven't got one.
Oh, there's no denying we've got to improve the squad. There's absolutely no denying that. Yeah.
And it ain't a case of improving the squad. It's a total overhaul. We've got people like Yarmolenko sitting there who, let's be honest, he ain't cut it for no more. Lanzini's run his race, in my opinion. Anderson is on mega wages. That's 3 players that we need to get out the door, and we need to match up with another 3, plus add a left back, plus I'm not being disrespectful to Dawson. I know he's done well for us, but if that's your backup defender, Champions League teams and Europa League teams don't chase Europe with Craig Dawson as your backup defender. I know he's done well, and I will say he's done well, but he's run out of steam. And when you look at our team, we've missed a left back, and we've missed Rice, and we fell apart. It just says it all.
I don't think we've fallen apart. I think we gave 2 really awful mistakes away to Newcastle. And ironically, with only 10 men, we won the second half 2-1. So if you take those 2 errors out of the way, we would have won that game.
We haven't been good in the last 2 games. We haven't been great.
I think Chelsea made us bad in the last game.
I think the second
Chelsea
half
were a lot better than us.
The second half
against Newcastle was an excellent performance. But against Chelsea, they were professional. They knew what they were doing, Chelsea. Niggly little fouls, putting us off our pace. I mean, it's ironic.
Paying the referee.
paying the referee. It's ironic. Christensen pulled down Lingard at the time we were 3 against 3 and could have broken away and scored. And then seconds later, you almost wanted Ogbonna to do the same with their player, but he stood, tried to stand him up, let him go, and then that same player scored. That's the difference. We don't know. We're a bit too much of an honest team. So you're right. I don't think we played that well against Chelsea, but second half against Newcastle was a really fine performance, I think. But it was unfortunate. Dawson, you're right. Dawson, I don't think is European class. I agree with you there. And we gave away 2 really, really silly goals against Newcastle. That's
Gary.
and already on the back foot there.
Yeah. Gary, we're gonna I'll do the rounds on this, and we had the debate slightly. I think it was Scott. I was on Aaron Stell yesterday. About does Dawson come back in for Niles and Ben Rama, but we'll get to that in just a second. But Gary, for you, against a physical side like Burnley, does Craig Dawson come back in for you? If you're Moyes, does Craig Dawson come back in against Burnley?
Personally, no. I'd bring Cresswell back myself over Dawson. I think Dawson has played very, very well for 10, 15 games. And the last few, he's shown himself up a little bit. He looks a bit tired. He's fatigued. And I think at the end of the day, Watford bombed him out for a reason. And I think he's a good lad. He's really done well. I'm not criticising the guy because he's been fantastic. But I think Cresswell's a more technical player. Ogbonna's our best defender. And I'd personally keep Balbuena in over Diop myself. That's my personal preference. I think Diop, I like Diop, but he's not as physical as Balbuena. And I think against Chris Wood, we need someone much more physical. Because Chris, everyone knows what Burnley's going to do. Is go out to the wings, Dwight Neal, he's going to cross it across for old Chris Wood, and he's just going to batter over for 90 minutes. That's what we're going to get. And Balbuena are our toughest centre back. That's what I think with Chris. My choice.
Anton, what would you go with then? Because I don't know whether there's an outside chance, whether there's an inside chance that we're going to see Cresswell in the game against Burnley. But let's say he's in there, then what are you doing? I think we'd all like to sit here and say we're going to go for a back 4 against Burnley, but you don't know with Moyes, do you? Whether he'll stick with his back 5 or not. But what
No,
would
you
you
don't.
do?
No, you don't. And Gary makes an absolute valid point there about Chris Wood. We get every time we play Burnley, he always gets up and scores a goal. Doesn't matter really what formation we do and put out. And I think you're right, Gary. I think Diop recently has been okay. I think most central defenders have stepped up this season, and I would have been a canvasser for Diop to stay in the team. However, I am also saying that we don't play Diop and Ogbonna together, because I think that would be a big calamity. We've seen that's been proven to be a calamity, and now that we know that Balbuena is there and he's played recently, I think it's a no-brainer that Balbuena stays in the team, and we bring Cresswell back in if he's fit, because he offers us such we've kind of borderline got him back to his best this season. I think he's got 7 assists from that position. So he offers us a threat going back. We know he's not got the legs as much anymore. I don't think we'll see Declan Rice. I think there's been a lot of rumours about him, but I've been kind of a bit concerned because people have jumped the gun. But when you look at the images of him in training, he's not wearing his football boots, he's wearing his trainers. He's the only one wearing his trainers. Everyone else is wearing their football boots. So it makes me think he's maybe not been involved in game time yet. And it makes me think that he's not going to be around for the Burnley game. But there still is time, but I doubt it. So I think he's going to go with the 5, to be honest. There's an element of me saying I would like him to go with the 4, but I think he's going to go with the 5 and try and catch Burnley off in the wings.
Yeah. Still, I'm going to come to you. So obviously, there's going to be no Masuaku in that for you. There's going to be no Dawson. Who's going in for you then? So Sufao on the right. Back 4, back 5. What are you going for?
I think whilst we don't have Declan, I think he will go safe and go for a back 5. Do I agree with it? Don't know, not necessarily, but I think that's what he'll do. And I agree with Gary. I think Cresswell should come back in if he's fit. I think it'll be really unfortunate for Diop to be dropped, but I kind of agree with Anton. You don't need your flair defenders against a team like Burnley. You need your solid defenders. So Balbuena I mean, it was obvious his red card was going to be rescinded. So I think he will go with a back five. And it'll probably stick with Fredericks on the left, who I think did all right. And Balbuena, Ogbonna, and Cresswell if Cresswell's fit. And Diop will just be unlucky to not be back in the team, but I can see he'd be the one that will drop out because whilst Declan isn't back, he's going to want to try and reinforce that back line in order to make up for it. I think it will be a back five. I don't necessarily think it's right, but I can kind of understand why Moyes will want to do it. If Declan was back, he might might be tempted to go with a back four. But
there's been more times this season that we've seen West Ham with a formation of 5 at the back or 4 at the back, no matter whatever formation Moyes has put out. But there's been more times we've been pleasantly surprised than disappointed this season. So even though we didn't turn up against Fulham, we got a draw. Even though we got beat in some of the games we've recently done, and we could have taken the game to these clubs, even though against Liverpool, when they absolutely annihilated us at home, when we could have turned up, we could have went to that game in a different mindset. We've been surprised in many other games. In many other games this season, we would have lost last season. 100%. Now, that doesn't justify why I think, against Fulham, why did we not go out there and go attacking the game when we probably should have walked away with that 3 points in that game instead of the 1? But I'm only, I'm agreeing with you still as well. And like, I would like him to go more attacking for the game, but I'm thinking that Moyes will go with 5 at the back to protect what he needs in the midfield.
Yeah.
Scott says 5 at the back against Burnley. Oh dear, can someone remind me if we're chasing Europe or battling the set?
This is bang on the money. Bang on the money. Right, 5 at the back. I've heard what everyone said. We do 5 at the back. We're playing Burnley now. We're going to set up 5 at the back. What's going on? Chris Wood was nowhere to be seen 2 weeks ago. He scores an hat-trick and everyone thinks he's a world beater. Like, I don't understand it. Like, this 5 at the back rubbish, right? We got lucky against Leicester. We got lucky against Wolves, right? And we played the best football in the first half against Arsenal with 4-2-3-1 system. And for some reason, everyone wants to go back to a 5 at the back.
James, did you say lucky against Leicester and Wolves?
Look, we got away with it against Leicester and Wolves because we score 3 goals. We score 3 goals and then we go and concede 2. I think teams who set up 5 at the back don't concede sloppy goals like we did against Leicester and Wolves. Right, so for me, we go to Newcastle. Name me another time when Newcastle scored 3 goals this season. Funny how it's against us, isn't it? With 5 at the back.
I think it doesn't. I don't disagree. I don't think it worked. We're not good enough to defend with 5 at the back. For some odd reason, we seem to concede more goals when we got 5 at the back than we do when we got 4 at the back. But I'm with trying to work out Moyes' mindset. And if Declan was available, and I agree with Anton, he ain't going to be available for Burnley. If Declan was available, Moyes would go, I can afford to play 4 at the back because I've got 2 proper holding midfielders.
We've set up 5 at the back against Manchester United away, and go up there for a draw. We should not be setting up 5 at the back against the likes of Brighton, who we did at home, and we drew 2-2, and we only had 2 attacking players. We've done it against someone else it's just gone from me, but it'll come back. We've set up numerous times 5 at the back against teams to try and nullify them. Like, we've got Saeed Benrahma sitting on the bench, right? And people are saying to me, like, oh, we'll put Fredericks there. Like, Fredericks has had 1 good game this season. That's against Aston Villa away. And people are saying that 5 at the back is the solution. We've conceded 10 goals in 5 games.
Not saying 5 at the back. No, I've not said that 5 at the back is the solution. I'm saying that's what Moyes is likely to do. Whilst
that doesn't mean to say it's right, does it?
No, I didn't say it was.
I'm just going to bring on
the other point.
2 seconds.
Oh, sorry.
Go on.
No, the other point I was going to make was there's not many. I know you said there's not many teams how many teams have Newcastle scored 3 goals against, but how many teams have got the double over Leicester in a season? How many teams have got the double over Wolves? Like, for me, I understand the sentiment behind. There needs to be progression, but we have progressed this year, no matter what. Even if we haven't signed players, even if we're running thin in the squad, we have progressed this year, and it's now about what Moyes can do to finish off the season and the players we've got, and then reset and reevaluate the squad, get rid of who he doesn't want and bring in who he wants, and whoever he brings in, got to back him.
Let's be honest here. Like Kieran just said there, right? He says 6 at the back because you've got Mark Noble who's a defensive midfield player. So we've got 6 players who are sitting at the back, right? Souček, right? And then when you really go into it and divulge into it, we've technically only got 2 attackers in Lingard and Bowen, because Fornals is a midfielder who runs about box to box, doesn't score many goals. So we're relying on Jesse Lingard and Jared Bowen to score the goals. To me, right, you're setting up 5 at the back against Burnley. When are you going to go for it?
I'm just going to bring a guest on just to spice things up a bit. Here he is. Pete.
Yo, you know what, dog? Yo, big up Anton, big up Stelios, big up Fat Boy, big up your blood clot self, dog. Who else is in the chat? That's it. No? Hold on. Oh, Fat Boy, Anton, Stelios. And who's the next man? Who's the next man? Besides Gary, big up Gaza. How you mean? All day, every day. How you mean? Yo, Anton made a good point, dog. Like, yo, we're being negative Nancy's. Like, we've progressed. Be happy with that. Real talk.
There we go. That's the statement.
Oh, said Peach.
That is a statement. Right. We're right. We're going to have this debate. Scott has said we're going to have this debate now, and we're going to have it. Fornals, Ben Rama. What we're going to do, Ben Rama, we have it every week, but we're going to have it again.
All day long. Fornals is overrated, dog. Fornals is a chicken with his head cut off, dog.
Here we go. Here we go.
All day long, dog. How you mean? Peach is in the building. James is in the building. He knows what I'm talking about. Ben Blood Clot Rama all day long, dog.
Gary, I'm going to put this to you then. Ben Rama, does he start the next 5 games? Should he be a name on the team sheet?
Do you know what? Some of us want to be footballers, and he's got a God-given talent, that boy. He can do things with the ball that most of us can only dream of. And someone puts his arm around him and tells him how good he is, he will be a world beater, that kid. Absolute world beater. And I can't see why Moyes would not put him in the team and say, you are the best in this position in the league, or one of. Just go and play, boy. Because you can see when he touches, he does things that so quickly. He's. I agree, Fornals is overrated. I like him. He runs around. He works really hard, but he's not a Ben Rama.
He don't do fuck all though. Excuse my language, Jake, but he don't do fuck all. Like
3 goals, 3 assists this season, which is 3 goals more than Ben
yes,
Rama.
okay. What about
I'm a
Messi?
Ben Rama fan.
Okay,
What
about
12
Messi?
games, 7 wins, 4 draws, 1 loss.
Get them stats on already.
I will say it again. 12 starts, 7 wins, 4 draws, only 1 loss, and that loss was against Liverpool at home.
Yeah. I'm a Ben Rama fan, but
he can score 3 goals, but if he does nothing else.
Yeah, but
Ben Rama takes 2 people out the game.
Fornals is shit, dog. Yo, he ain't the under 21 Spanish like player that we've seen, man. He ain't that. He ain't that.
Unfortunately, you know, I'm a Ben Rama fan, but unfortunately, he's doing a Masuaku where he gives the ball away too many times. You know, and Moyes doesn't like that.
Hold on. Stelios, sorry.
Our best performances. Hold on, Peach. Hold on, Peach.
Come on.
Hold on. Our best performances this year have been when Ben Rama's been playing. Leeds home and away, Villa away, Palace away, Everton away. Right? I don't have to go. I can't keep having it because Fornals runs about a bit and he scored 3 goals and gets 3 assists. When Ben Rama's been arguably, when we've had top performances this year, he's been involved in the start.
The end result is all that matters. It doesn't matter if you have a top performance. If you have a top performance and you're not scoring goals, you're not going to be in the team. You know, and what Fornals has done, Fornals was dropped out of the team when Moyes first came back for the second time, and he was Lanzini was preferred over Fornals until Moyes finally realised that Lanzini is not the player he used to be, and Fornals fought his way back into the team, and the reason why he's in the team is because he plays the game that Moyes wants, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah, but because Moyes wants it. Hold on.
He's the manager. He's the manager.
Because Moyes wants it to say it's right. I'm not being rude or nothing, but you can't keep saying. You can't. Right, Listen, we drew 3-3 with Arsenal. We played the best football in the first half that I've ever seen West Ham play for a hell of a long time. He comes on the next game, he gets 12 minutes. The next game after that, he gets 6 minutes. Right, but he's not good enough to start the game, is he? But he's good enough to come on and save us, like against Newcastle. Right, everyone's saying, "Get on, Benrahma, go on, right, go and get a goal. We need you to come on the pitch and save us." Right, but he's not good enough to start.
Benrahma needs more time, though, dog. Benrahma needs more time. Like James will agree with me on this, dog. Straight up, Benrahma needs more time, dog.
Yeah, I do agree. I do think that Benrahma. I would love to have seen more of Benrahma this season. And
me too,
Gary, you're right, mate. Like, I done a show particularly on Benrahma today. Again, the reason we brought the Brentford fan on was because we wanted to see what went wrong, if anything went wrong at Brentford, because all we saw as outsiders was his stats, his goals and his assists. And what I found interesting from what he said today was there was many games that he went missing and there was many games that the Brentford fans got really frustrated with him. And the question I asked to them was, were you happy when you sold him and would you take him back? And they said, no, we weren't particularly happy we sold him. However, we knew it was the right time for him to go. And I was trying to ask him, like, why? Explain to me. Yeah, no, I was just asking, like, explain to me why. You know, I'm giving this platform a voice, the Brentford fan, a voice to let us know. And it doesn't mean he's right. It's just giving him a voice to say. And he just said, yeah, he does do the flair stuff. He does that. And that's the difference between what Moyes has to decide. Does Moyes want to give up the mindset of tracking back the hard-working midfielder to have that flamboyant flair player, or have the flair player to run the risks of losing the hard-working element in the team? And does Moyes know how to have that balance in the team? Right now, I don't think Moyes knows how to have that balance in the team, unless it's a Jesse Lingard up top. But I do get it. He's played well.
I asked the question in your show.
Wait, hold on. Do you remember Benrahma when he first got put on? He tracked back and there was a penalty given against him. But he tracked back all the way from up front, tracked back, and then the first thing he did was to go up the other end. Like, he can do it. Sorry, Stelios, go on. Just an interjection.
No, I asked the question during Anton's show earlier. Moyes will only really allow one flair player on the pitch at any one time, unless we're chasing the game.
Lingard?
Well, that's the question I asked. Given that we know what Moyes does, how he picks a team, who are you going to play as the player that is going to get the freedom of the park? Is it going to be Lingard or is it going to be Benrahma? Because unless we're chasing the game, you know he won't. But you know he won't.
But he played against Leeds at home. Still, I respect you, mate. I really do, yeah. But I can't keep hearing that you can't play attacking flair players, right? Yeah, I know, but I do, right? I do respect Spell, and I respect his opinion because he come on before, and I said I knew what was coming with Benrahma. Like, I can't keep hearing this about you can't have flair players in your team. We played a 4-2-3-1 against Arsenal, and we destroyed Arsenal. Absolutely destroyed you to bits.
Look, don't get me wrong. My favourite players are flair players, like, you know, the Devonshires of the world and the Brookings and all that sort of stuff. And if it were me, I'd have all the flair players on. But what I said earlier, you know, there's a comment in there from Robert Singleton, you know, about Fornals. It's Fornals plays because Fornals does exactly that. Without the ball, Fornals will try and break up the play, you know, and people don't see that because you got your mindset going, the flair player is going to create something. But an all-round player, the reason why Fornals plays is because Moyes has got him playing in the way that Moyes wants him to play. Fornals came in as a number 10. Fornals doesn't play as a number 10 anymore. He plays more like a central midfielder. And that is why he plays over Benrahma. I'm not saying it's right, you know, but what Moyes will do is Moyes will try and pick a team that's got a balance. And for him, Fornals has got the bigger balance in the team over Benrahma. I'd love Benrahma to play more time. I really would. Gary, I think, wanted to say something.
Yeah, it's horses for courses, isn't it? If you're playing Liverpool away, Man United away, yeah, I understand Fornals. We've got Burnley, Brighton, West Brom, and Southampton to play. Now, if Benrahma can't play in those games, when the fuck is he going to play? Excuse my language.
I agree. Bang on the money. And I'm thinking to myself, and I totally agree with Gary on that. And this is why I'm very Benrahma in, because the way I look at it is, there's been like usually in your loaf, right? If you're going to play, the reason why Benrahma played against Arsenal, it's all rolled back about a month ago. We got up to Old Trafford, we set up 5 at the back. Moyes gets it horribly wrong. right? We lose the game 1-0. We've got no attacking threat. So against the Arsenal, he has to go for it. So he goes 4-2-3-1. He plays Lingard, Antonio, Benrahma, Bowen, Rice. It was Rice before he went to international. Rice, Souček, and the back four. Right. That to me is the team I want to see going forward. I want to see attacking. I don't want to see me 5 at the back and having wing backs and having near enough 7 defensive-minded players. Like, how are we going to win games like that? What, from set pieces?
We're not, dog. We're not.
It's
right,
not.
let's take some comments. Let's take some comments, and then I've got to go.
Jake, look what you've done. Look what you've done to everyone. It's like a big Royal Rumble.
everything's eaten up.
WWE things, dog. How you mean?
That's why I bought Peach in, to just lighten the mood up a bit.
I always lighten up the mood, dog. I love all of y'all, man. Straight up. And you know what? I'll show you this, dog. It's
you're muted.
Yo, James is so right. Like having like no ball man back is like a defensive midfielder. Like no, the defensive man still. Like that's 6 at the back. That's dead wrong. That's dead wrong.
I just want to ask something before we move on, though, right? If Benrahma doesn't play, like Gary said, we've got these teams around us who like the Brightons, the West Broms, and all that. What happens to Benrahma then? Because we can't be setting up like if we go to Burnley and we set up 5 at the back, then what with Benrahma?
No, thank you.
That's what.
Benrahma won't start. You know,
wouldn't y'all love to see Benrahma, Lanzini, and Bowen like up front?
No, Lanzini's finished.
Oh, come on.
Finished. It's an interesting comment there from Scott. There's 2 missing football. It's interesting comment here from Scott. 2 missing football. Benrahma gives the ball away. I love him, but he does. And Fornals works hard. He does. So they're not myths; they're actual facts. You know, and
Fornals doesn't really give you anything else other than working hard, though. Still, let's be honest.
But then,
3 assists, and Benrahma 4 assists and no goals.
But then, still to contradict that comment, to contradict that comment, Benrahma is the only one that's got the skill and the ability to try the stuff he does, which means he's gonna, which is a fact with a player at that level. Is always going to have more of a turnover than another player like Fornals. So Benrahma doesn't make the easy pass. Benrahma doesn't try the easy dribble. The whole point of bringing him in is to make the tough dribble, the tough pass, the penetrating pass that will create something. And we do lack that. I think we do lack it. I mean,
We lack it because you're not on the team, dog. Trust me. If I had my way, I'd have Stelios in like defensive central midfield, like straight up. I'd have Gaza as like our center half. I'd have center half. Word up. I'd have Anton as our center forward. I'd have Fat Boy there as our center forward, and I'd have James as our center forward. Dog, how you mean, dog?
Did you just put Stel in the defensive?
He's put it the wrong way round. I should be
no. He's put you in the Mark Noble. He's made you the Mark Noble. You can't run anymore, Stel. You can't run anymore.
James, Jake, is it past your bedtime?
I got 15 minutes. We'll wrap it up.
It's always fire. It's always fire, man. I love y'all, man. It's always fire, dog. Straight up.
Right, let's have a look at some comments then. Let's have a look. Scott, hello. Scott says, look at Eze. He's getting all the praise this season, yet Benrahma was leagues above.
That's who always wanted to sign, Jake. That's who always wanted to sign, bud.
Scott, I don't know if I agree with saying he was leagues above Eze last season.
That's who always wanted to sign, though, dog.
I still can say this comment. I think Etsy with the right team can be next level. He is still.
Well, that was Moyes'. That was Moyes' choice, though, wasn't it? And he didn't get it.
Well, apparently it was. But
I'll tell you what. Can I ask a question to you, lads, right now? So if you had Eze and you had Fornals, who'd you have in?
Eze.
What do you mean? Expand on that.
That makes no sense because Eze plays a similar sort of way as Benrahma, and Benrahma outshone him last season in the Championship.
Well, ironically, I think Eze plays similar to Fornals.
Still, what's going on, mate? I don't believe what I'm hearing. I swear these two are trolling me. I swear to God, they got to be. They have to be trolling me, honestly.
Eze would have been the bomb signing. But Sullivan and Gold and that bitch Brady, excuse my language, Jake, But like Sullivan, Gold, and Brady, yo, their pockets are too long for their arms, dog. That's why
I
they
just
got to
wanna
dip in
ask-
their pockets this
I just
summertime.
want to
dog.
ask.
They have to dip in
I
their
just want to
pockets
ask
this
Del
summertime.
and
They should
Anton
have dipped
this.
in their
Yeah.
blood clot pockets in January because we would
If you
have
can
been
get a word in
guaranteed a
edgeways,
chance for like
James.
a chance
Right,
I know.
right. Just 2
Peach,
seconds. I'm just going
do-
to plug my laptop in because I've got very little charge. So talk between yourselves. 2
Right.
minutes.
What it is, does Ben Rama be here next summer?
Yeah.
In your opinion,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
you don't think
Yeah.
you don't think he'll be sold next
no.
summer?
No.
He
This
won't be
summer
sold-
coming.
He won't be sold
James.
this summer.
No,
He won't be sold
no,
this
no,
summer.
not this summer. Not this summer coming. Next summer. So you're looking
No,
at 2022.
I've said he's got next season to prove what he can do.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Agreed.
yeah, next
I
summer,
agree with that.
2022. If he doesn't do it, then yeah, he'll be sold next
Yeah.
summer.
Stelios, let me show you my Greek brethren. You're my Malacca, and I mean that in like the nicest sense of the way there. You're my Malacca, dog. Straight up. I got enough Greek friends, dog. How you mean? But like Zante. Oh, what? How you mean, Zante? But anyways, yo, I'm showing you, man. Ben Rama's gonna light the league on fire next season, dog.
Oh,
Watch me. Watch
Fully
my work.
expect it. Fully expect it. Yeah.
I think
yeah,
I think if played right with the right balance in the team, and as long as what Gary said about putting an arm around them and letting them play, then yeah, I do agree, and I want Ben Rama to succeed. I absolutely do.
And I actually think when we make Europe, I think Ben Rama's going to light up Europe. I think he's that type of player that will actually do quite well in Europe. Really
Yo,
do.
Stelios, you know who I think's gonna light up Europe, and this might sound weird. Noble. I think Noble's gonna light up Europe, dog. Straight up.
Love to think so, mate, but
wouldn't that be beautiful?
Do you know who'll light up Europe? Do you know who'll light up Europe as long as he's fit? Antonio, because no club will know how to deal with him. No club will know. You tell me right now, any club in Europe that comes up against an Antonio, he is unpredictable.
They're going to go, what the hell's that? Who the hell was that?
That's like a tanker truck. That's
They're all
like the
accustomed to
invisible Hulk in
Ronaldo
like real
and Messi.
form.
All accustomed to Ronaldo and Messi, then Antonio hits the ground running.
Oh dear. Right, I'm back. I've just busted my knee on the thing and it really hurts. Right, I've had to turn my light off because I've had to plug this in.
Come on, don't hurt yourself, dog. Come on, man.
Oh dear. Right, we're having a nightmare. Right, we're gonna scrap this now because we've talked about this for about 6 hours. It feels like.
Sorry, just quickly in the comments there, Scott. I get what you're saying, right? But earlier on, we were talking about bringing up stats, and some people were saying not naming anyone, but some stats are right, and you don't always follow the stats, and it's true. But look, you're comparing a player with 3 goals of a difference and 1 assist of a difference. That doesn't mean one is better than the other. It just shows you that they've done well for their team with individual successes. But what they've done individually with what Ben Rama done at Brentford and what Essie done at QPR, Brentford were obviously a better team, and Essie was playing in a worse team in QPR. And that's my comparison. That's why when I looked at it, in my opinion,
Scott,
when I looked
I will fight the Ben Rama calls, brother. I will fight the Ben Rama calls. I mean,
I'm with you, homeboy.
But like I said, when I go back to it though, I say my choice. If I had the choice, it was Etsy first, Ben Rama second, and Diangana third. And that's why I wasn't massively, Diangana third. Yeah.
Oh, Grady Diangana. Oh my days.
Right. We're gonna move on. Well and truly. So, just before we wrap against
bollocks upon bollocks upon bollocks. No. You know, like me and James talked about this, dog. Like when you go for like a kick like that, you're only following through. Same as the slide tackle thing, dog. And homeboy couldn't move his foot any way different. Like the homeboy in front of him played on it like some Grealish things, and Grealish is that times 10, man. But it's like, yo, man, homeboy couldn't do nothing about it. Real talk, man.
That was, in my opinion, the most embarrassing, personally, refereeing decision I've saw.
Yes. And it got overturned in a split second, didn't it, Anton?
Go on, Gary.
Speaking of stats, Anton probably knows this. I saw the stats today that of our last 8 straight red cards in the Premier League, 5 have been overturned.
Yeah.
Three
Yeah.
against three of them against the
big
greedy
six.
six.
Yeah.
Right.
And the two major decisions against Chelsea this season in both games was by the same referee. Bowen disallowed goal earlier in the season, and then the sending off of Balbuena. Same ref.
Like Stelios, you remember the goal that Rice scored and it like touched his arm,
when it
and
touched
then
his arm.
Antonio scored a goal and it
Sheffield
touched his
United.
arm. Like, yo, those should have been goals, dog. Like,
Absolutely. And we should have had a penalty against Chelsea, because I don't know what you guys think.
The one
It
against
hit his
Chelsea,
arm first.
massive.
It hit his arm first. I'm sure, because if you look at the trajectory of the ball, it like
Massive.
if it hit your chest, it would have gone like chest, arm down, but it went arm, chest, and it kept going down. I'll tell you what, if it was one of our defenders,
you know where it was.
if it was one of our defenders, Chelsea would have got a penalty.
Easy.
We would have been fuming. We
don't
would have
think
been
so, mate.
fuming sitting there. We would
Yeah.
have been fuming
I
sitting
do,
there if that
James,
would have been
straight up,
given,
I
in
do
my
that.
opinion.
Yeah.
In my
I think-
opinion,
I
it-
think,
If you're going to give
I don't
penalties
know.
for that, we're going to be giving penalties every week like that. Like, his arm weren't outstretched, and if let's be honest, like even the penalty decision, right? We weren't great anyway. So, like, if we would have got a penalty, it would have been like, do you know what I mean? It would have been lucky at best to get that. But I don't believe
but if
we.
that's a red card, dog, that's a penalty. I don't business. If that's a
Well,
red card, that's a blood clot penalty.
Well, that's
dog.
the other
I
thing.
remember seeing Tevez play against Blackburn, and like the ball didn't even cross the line, and like we got a goal out of that. Like, yo, shit is sideways sometimes. Straight up.
But that's the other thing. Why not VAR call him over to look at that when they called him over to look at the foul? Why didn't they
Agreed.
say to the ref, go and have a look at the screen for you to
Agreed.
decide if it was a penalty
Agreed.
or not? When
I
they
genuinely
decided
believe.
like that.
I genuinely
100.
believe that they're scared. I've said it all along. I've said it the minute the VAR came in, that the first mistake that was made, it would then spiral out of control. And when you listen to any of the mainstream media, and we've been talking a lot about VAR today, and particularly West Ham, they're saying that VAR has now become a farce. If you think about the West Ham Chelsea game, if you think about the West Ham Chelsea game as the example, there's no consistency, because we all know about Balbuena. We all know about 2 minutes later the Soufal tackle that was never picked up. So no consistency.
Exactly the same. Exactly
The
the same.
penalty, the big decision, the penalty, like the whole point of the VAR was brought in was go and double check if you need to go and double check. It didn't double check it. And
ironically, the rules was changed this season that the referee would be encouraged to go and look at the screen. It's been changed because
Let's be
the
honest,
referees
you
weren't
know,
doing it.
with VAR, it's an opinion. Like us six here could be sitting there watching a game, and we could all have a different opinion. Not having a different opinion now on the handball. So personally, when you're working it on an opinion base, like I might think it's not a penalty, still might think it is, and you're in a room and you've got like people, you'd rather. That's why when they said to the ref about going over for the Balbuena thing, because they didn't know what to do, so they thought they'll give it to the ref, and then the ref makes the final decision. VAR should only be used for offside.
James, they're making the rules as they go along, dog. They're making the rules as they go along, and it's disgusting.
What it is,
Gary,
it's an opinion.
two sets. Gary, you can cut in there.
To say VAR should be clear and obvious errors such as the Liverpool equaliser against West Ham last season when the bloke was about 10 yards offside and crossed it. That's a clear and obvious error. None of these drawing lines and all this stuff. You should look at it. If he's offside, we can all see straight away he's offside. If his armpit's offside, he's on, as far as I'm concerned. Simple as that. And it'd be so much easier. It should take 5 seconds just to look at it straight away.
And that's what makes the Balbuena decision so bad, is the fact that, like what you've all said, they've looked at the video, they've called him over, and it's his mentality. That's my issue. That's the big thing I'm pissed off about more than anything. It's the mentality of the referee. What's he gone over to that screen to do? He's going over there knowing, I'm going to send him off. Can I find something not to send him off with? Or he's not gone into that and looking at putting things in context.
If it's correct, apparently when he was called over to look at it, apparently, and it's meant to be the ref's final decision, apparently the VAR officials suggested that it should be a red card. Now, I didn't think VAR officials were meant to give their opinion. I thought they were just there to say, you need to have a look at this, ref.
Is there
I
not a
didn't-
stat?
you know.
Is there not a stat out though that says that when a referee is called over to the screen, that either it's either 100% of a record of the whatever the decision that you think it shouldn't be is probably going to be it. So if they're going to go and contest the penalty, then it's probably going to be a penalty. If you're going to go and
Let's
test
be
a
honest
red
here.
card, it's going to be a red card.
Let's be honest here. When that ref went over there, I think we all knew that he was going to get sent off.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
let's
right.
be
Yeah,
honest,
that's
like,
fine,
yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
when we're all sitting here watching the game and we're going, right, the VAR's called it. We've looked at the challenge ourselves and we've gone, right, he's going over to the screen. We all
Yeah.
knew he's
Yeah.
getting sent off no matter what.
And I
And
don't-
that's the
Totally
problem.
agree. Yeah.
I don't
yeah.
even think I'm exaggerating about that particular sending off though. If it's not even close to the Souček one. It's not even close to when, and that was rescinded quickly, but it's nowhere near it. Balbuena.
There's been a
had
lot of
no-
decisions this year. There's been loads. Like even the Manchester United when the ball went out. Like it's funny they can draw the lines after. Like you know what I mean? They can find the lines after, but they can't find them at like the 55th minute. So yeah, I agree with you. Like really, I think the only way to eradicate VAR is just do it on a sort of offside basis. In my opinion, I think anything else would be.
Or just get rid of it. Just get rid of it.
100.
Because
Yeah.
I'd
100.
rather moan at the referee getting it wrong than moaning at the referee and VAR officials. Because now it was meant to eradicate the errors. All it's doing is it's confusing everybody, and
Yeah.
now we don't know whether to blame VAR or the ref or both. You know, and
They
they'll never get rid of it. I think someone asked, will they get rid of VAR? It's here to stay, you know, and unfortunately.
Stelio, stay like talk to me, dog. Talk to me. They need to do it like the rugby things. So like when
Yeah, I heard
shit's out of order, like everybody can hear it. They don't
But the
squan it.
unfortunate thing is, though, I agree with that. But the unfortunate thing is that doesn't change the outcome. You know, whether even if they talk about it, you know, because once that referee has made that decision, rightly or wrongly, even if he says, "Oh, foul, penalty, whatever," because it doesn't change the outcome. It's being used in a really, really bad way. You know, because I think in rugby, in American football, etc., they got real proper professionals looking at it. Maybe even ex-players or whatever in those games. In those sports, but you know, it's what James said. Again, it's just all they're doing is they're seeing what we've seen on TV. They've got the ability to slow it down. You know,
and let's be honest
even then they can't get it right. You know,
let's be honest here.
100%. 100%.
If you've got three people in a room and they all can't agree on it, all they're going to do is hand it over to the one person who can make a decision, and they go with him.
And as you said, And as you said, the minute that referee is called over, he's under pressure. He's probably thinking, what didn't I see that they saw? You know, all of a sudden it puts doubt in the referee's mind because the referee just waved play on. You know, it was only because VAR said to him, come and have a look at this. All straight away, that puts an element of doubt in the referee's head. You know, oh shit, what have I done wrong? Where, you know, what did I not see? Oh God, look. That's a foul.
I know. I agree with you.
I go have to cut this short. Pete,
hold on. 1 second, dog. 1 second, dog. It's come down to like some law things. Like you got the ref as the judge, and then you got the VAR is like the jury. And it's like, yo, 3 people agree or 2 people agree. Let's say there's 3. 2 people agree, 1 doesn't. They're gonna go with the majority.
VAR should not. Officials should not have any say. All they have to do is highlight it to the ref and say, you make the decision. We're not saying anything. But apparently they influenced him. But anyway.
Right.
No, 100.
The thing I can't
Sorry, Gary.
give for football is a low scoring sport. It's not like cricket or rugby with lots of points, lots of tries. Football is a low sport. And VAR has taken away that joy of when your team scores, how you think is it going to be ruled out?
Absolutely.
Last season, Declan scored. I was in a pub and I ran the length of the pub and came back and it was disallowed.
Right, we're going to have to cut this. We're going to have to cut this because we'll be
no,
here
Richard,
for
Richard, let him have a late night. Come on, I'm only joking.
Give him another 5 minutes, Richard. Come on.
Well, right. 2 things we haven't discussed is Fabianski won some London Football Awards thing last night, and so did David Moyes. So congratulations to them. And we know video coming out a bit about it tomorrow. Premier League. Who's in your Premier League team this season? What we got out of this tonight is in James's, there won't be Fornals, there'll be Ben Rama. Obviously, we know that in Stell's there won't be Masuaku. And Anton will put Reed in there somewhere. And that's what we got out of it. And Fornals definitely won't be in Peaches because he said some quite strong words about Fornals tonight. But
bring your Reggie and Fornals is running around like a chicken with his head cut off, dog. Like, what are you dealing with? What are you doing? Like, there's no destination. It's like you want to go to Burger King, but it's taking you 5 hours to get there because you don't know where the place is. Straight up.
Congratulations to Peach, who did his player review, who did his own match review for the Chelsea game, and he didn't even watch the blooming game, and he still did a match review on it.
Bridget, I watched 2 minutes. Jake filled me in on everything, and then I watched the highlights. Then when I James, like, okay, so watch this. Yo, watch this, like, real talk. Like, Jake filled me in on everything. Like, this happened, that happened, this happened. I'm like, okay, word. So I got that. Went on the show, did a match review, just talking garbage. And then, like, James is like, yo, come on my show, we'll do players rating. And I'm like, yo, I'm down. I didn't even watch the Blood Clot Claim, dog.
I knew it. I knew you didn't watch the game. I knew it.
I pulled it out of my.
We're gonna leave it there. We're gonna have to leave it there because I'm gonna be in trouble. Yeah, pick up all the man then. Well done, Peach. Thank you very much for all of our guests tonight. James, Gary, Stell, and Son. It's time for me to go to bed because I'm knackered, honestly. Flipping heck. Thank you very much for watching.
How you in?
All of that stuff, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching. Thanks for everybody in the chat. Scott's been here throughout the whole of it, so thank you very much.